Well. It's North London Derby day on two up top. Myself, Gav Mack. We've got Stephen Buck up there, our closet gooner, but he reckons he's a Spurs fan. And Stephen Cotton down there. I'm not quite sure where Alex Osborne is. Apparently he's going out and getting a little bit of tun somewhere. But he must know that it's North London Derby day.
Exactly. Well, on a day like today, come on. There's more important things in life.
Oh, my God, yeah. To be fair, she's actually a bit of a looker. My missus even thought,
Doesn't matter. Even I wouldn't miss North London Derby though for a bit of that, and I can't stand either team.
Exactly. Hey, look, welcome to everybody across all social media platforms at Top Football on all social media. We're trying to encourage people to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can see all the links of that going down the bottom. Before the game starts, we've got the end of the Villa Palace game going on, and Villa, it looks like they're going to keep a clean sheet for once. Not just that, they're going to win this game 2-0, but they're on the break now. No, Martin Atkinson has called the game off there. So that's finished 2-0 to Aston Villa. How important is that, Bucky?
I think it's really important for them. I mean, they've been a bit shaky consistently throughout the season. Certainly defensively, they've been dreadful. So just keeping a clean sheet.
Goals, I think.
Yeah, just keeping a clean sheet alone is, pretty significant for them and survival hopes.
It's also nice to see King Solskjaer Campbell the first in the studio. I know Tottenham fans love Sol Campbell.
Of course we do.
I've got the lineups here, so let's get them on the screen, eh? Right then. So that is the Spurs lineup. They're going with like a 4-3-3 sort of thing. Lloris in goal, and then the back four of Davies, Sanchez, Alderweireld, and Aurier. And then the midfield of Sissoko, Winks, and Lo Celso. Son and Lucas Moura supporting Harry Kane. Bucky, what do you think of that lineup?
I think it's a very typical Mourinho lineup. I mean, Aurier, you can expect him to play further forward, almost in that kind of like winger role, because that's kind of what he's done. They know that he's a little bit on the reckless side, to say the least, defensively. Davies has been dropped in there. Mourinho likes that little left full back that then becomes a third centre half and just tucks inside narrow. And the introduction, I think, of Winks and Sissoko will make that quite a solid midfield. A little bit disappointed, I have to say, that there hasn't been a bit more change brought into the side. They were lackluster in the last game. They were awful. And there's not really that much creativity in that midfield section. Winks is, he's a very good passer of the ball, but is he the most creative? Not really. Sissoko, likewise, very good as an engine, but he's not really going to bring much to your attack.
Christian Benteke has been sent off after the game. So I'm intrigued to see what happened there. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Do you know what? I'm surprised he's been sent off after the game. Although even after 90 minutes, that's probably the only thing he's contributed to that game. I know we're quickly talking about the lineups, but I was just going to say while I was watching it, you wouldn't even have a team in the Championship that had their main strikers only scored 3 goals in 24 months or whatever it is. Would you it's baffling.
I want to know what's happened to him. Goals. Like, what has happened to Christian Benteke? The guy that was banging him in a few seasons ago, he was a monster. Now, nah.
I'm watching MSNBC and I haven't seen they haven't shown why he's been sent off yet.
No, they've literally just stuck it back on Sky. Not quite sure. Let's get the Arsenal lineup up. Where are we? I didn't put a background on that one, so we're slapping in the middle. That's what we're going to do, just to try and ease out. Here I am. Sorry, Cotton, you're missing. Right, so Martinez in goal. They're going with the 3-4-3, like as they have done since most of the restart. Back three of Mustafi, David Luiz, and Kolasinac. Then we've got Tierney and Bellerin as the wing back, Ceballos and Xhaka in the middle, Aubameyang and Pepe supporting Lacazette. No Saka though. I'm very intrigued to see that there's no Saka there. I think he would like to terrorise a little bit.
Well, they've had a lot of games though. I mean, all these teams are playing so many games so often now that they've been forced to rotate the squads, and I don't believe any of these sides are truly match fit. They've not had a proper pre-season no one is going to really keep their fitness levels throughout all the COVID pandemic. So you're effectively looking at a side that's coming into a September era normally and still not being completely match fit. They still haven't had the right fitness and conditioning through it. So it's no wonder they're rotating so much.
Just got a message from Alex. He's on his way. He's running late, so he's definitely getting himself sorted downstairs in the nether regions. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
Having a sink wash.
Yeah, having a sink wash. Our army shower, they like to call it, don't they?
I want to know whose side Sol Campbell's meant to be representing on Sky. Is he meant to be the impartial one? Or is he meant to be
Arsenal legend, isn't he?
Arsenal legend, mate. One title
Arsenal legend, Sol Campbell.
Won title twice with Arsenal. Absolute baller. King Solskjaer Campbell. Matthew Chin put a comment on. Are you showing the game? Well, I'll tell you what. If we were showing the game, I wouldn't be recording this from home. I'll tell you that much. So no. What I'll say is to you, Matthew, is you are there to comment and chit chat whilst we're watching the game. Throw your comments in instead of posting your moans and gripes on social media. Stick it on ours as well, and then we'll have a chat about it and see what's going on with that. That's what we're going to do for that. But yeah, stick it on Sky, or if you are in a certain area in a certain place, you can put it on MSNBC. I know Stu Mitchell. I know Stu Mitchell will be doing that over in California. I know he's knocking about. So good to see you. And we're on all social media today. So we're not just on my personal Facebook because thought I'd mix it up a little bit. Also on the Two Up Top Facebook page at Two Up Top Football on all social media. We're also recording this live on Periscope, Twitch, and YouTube. Wow. So some of those things I've never even heard of because I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to those bits and bobs. But make sure you're all watered up. We've got 8 minutes till kickoff. And I've been confident all day. But as we're getting closer to kickoff, I'm starting to get a little bit panicky. I'm not going to lie.
I don't think
the back line.
Yeah. Gav, honestly, I think Arsenal don't have too much to worry about. I think Spurs.
That's the issue.
Well, to be fair, everything goes out the window in these sort of games, doesn't it? But if you're going just based on form and the way both teams have been playing, I mean, Arsenal haven't been setting the world alight, but they've not been as bad as Spurs have been.
No. The issue with Spurs has been their intensity. I mean, they're certainly not conceding the same amount of goals that they were before they went into the Premier League break. But there's no intensity, there's no creativity. And that's a big issue, not just for this season and what they're trying to achieve and just hopefully sneak in a Europa League, but it's a massive issue for next season. You've got Real Madrid snooping around Heung-min Son. Harry Kane is not going to hang around any club that doesn't push for any form of trophy or at least give him a chance of putting some record numbers together for goals. So actually, they need this derby. They need something to get them motivated and get them working at a level of intensity that they were beforehand. But is it going to happen?
We're starting to see a couple of predictions coming through. Kev Backman is over in Norway watching this. 4-1 to Spurs and Mourinho to get sent to the stands now.
I want to know what he's been drinking.
Yeah.
I'll have a tipple of that as well, Kev.
I'll definitely have that.
Definitely. And Jack Levy, he's watching this game over in Denmark. This game will be toilet 0-0. Whoa. Scott Carruthers. Scott, thanks for watching. Scott, no, we haven't got the rights to show the game live. Watch it with us. So you're watching it with us. That's what you're doing, and you're throwing your £2 worth in and hopefully taking the mick out of Bucky when Spurs get beaten. Fingers crossed. So that's how I'm seeing it. I'm trying to be neutral, but I can't be neutral here. I was trying, but it's not going to work. But yeah, the team's in the tunnels at the moment.
I'm surprised you've not got the bruised banana on.
Oh, right. So there's a situation with that. The bruised banana is in my car, and my car is outside a friend's house. So yeah, I've had to sacrifice that, unfortunately. But it's there in heart, and also my bruised banana mug is in the dishwasher at the moment as well. So I've gone with the old school Fiorentina 92-93. We've gone with the old 7-Up kit. I'm getting nervous now. It's not good.
I've just checked on Sky Bet, and both teams are 13-8.
Oh wow, okay. Can't split them.
Nope.
Can't split them. I'm not surprised, really. I really am not surprised. It's both teams have been indifferent in form. You know, Arsenal, yeah, they drew last time out. They were down to 10 men, but they picked up a couple of wins on the bounce after the Brighton defeat and the Man City defeat. So you just don't know what Arsenal side is going to show up here. Lineup wise, I'm happy with. I would have preferred to see Saka instead of Lacazette. I would like to have seen Aubameyang running through the middle. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Do you know what I think today really hinges on what David Luiz turns up. Is he starting? Is he starting, David Luiz?
Yeah, he's starting in central.
Yeah, David Luiz is starting the game today.
Yeah,
or wherever he decides to stand.
Yeah, he's starting centre back. Yeah. So like, if David Luiz that can play football turns up, it could be with Tottenham not having any shots on target in their last game and the negative football. If David Luiz has a good game and shuts people out, it could be an easy day. But on the opposite side, if David Luiz just starts hacking people down and just does a David Luiz, you could be getting chances that you shouldn't be getting.
The only thing that I think could expose David Luiz is Lucas Moura. I mean, he's very direct. He's really tricky with the ball at his feet. The only thing with Lucas Moura is you got the same thing with him. Are you going to get the Lucas Moura that's a 9 out of 10 that's going to turn the game on its head and really create something and be the stand-up player? Or are you going to get the 6 out of 10 where you barely notice he's on the pitch?
Yeah.
And there's nothing in between with him. It's either he is, scoring hat-tricks to get you to Champions League final, or he's not there.
Bear with me 2 seconds, Gav.
Nice to see Torreira back on the bench. He's not been super fit since the restart, and someone like him, I'd like to see him and Xhaka in those two positions. Let's just put a graphic on the screen right now. Harry Kane has scored 10 goals in his previous 10 appearances against Arsenal. So I think it's a case of keeping them quiet today for the Arsenal.
Scored 3 penalties in the last 3 games against Arsenal as well, hasn't he?
Yeah,
but he needs service. A striker is great at putting the ball in the back of the net, but if you don't give him the service and create the chances and get the ball to him, he's not going to do anything. You could have the world's best striker on your hands, but if you don't get the ball up to him, you got no chance. And at the minute, we are not creating anything for him to work off of.
It's all nice and friendly before the game. It never used to be like this. Arsenal Spurs. Oh, you're right, mate. How's it going? Oh, hello, coaches. Oh no, come off it.
Do you know what I think is as well? I think the lack of crowd absolutely baying for blood and hyping up the atmosphere. I think that might be a reason why everyone's a little bit friendly at the minute.
Yeah, probably. And I think with that, it's showing that the confidence levels are growing with players like David Luiz, Mustafi, the crowd are on their back.
That's a great question from Facebook. Who's getting sent off first, Luiz or Xhaka?
Well, that implies that they're both getting sent off, which could happen.
And Xhaka's been all right, touch wood. He's been all right recently. He's not been throwing himself into tackles like he used to.
I think if it's a straight red card, it's got to be Xhaka. If it's a double yellow, David Luiz.
Yeah, I agree with that. I could run with that because Xhaka, I can see him getting a yellow card after about 8 minutes. That's what I can see him doing. What I can see happening today as well is Kieran Tierney putting in some beautiful dime balls into the middle of the box. And just see what happens with the Arsenal after that. Nice strong trim from Hector Bellerin as well. He loves a strong trim.
Arteta looking like a Pep wannabe standing on the sideline.
And they've had their minute silence for Jack Charlton as well, who passed away yesterday. Still a bit of a shock. I know 85 great innings in that, but when you just see people on TV and you know the names and that, you think, well, they're never going to die, are they? They're just, they're immortal. So it is a shame for that. And he did lots for in English football, especially for the England national side, winning the World Cup in 1966 and turned Irish football. Well. Yeah, turn the major bits for Irish football.
And you're also forgetting that he won the Player of the Year in 1997, according to the American press, when they posted his stats yesterday.
Oh, they do love it.
1997 Player of the Year. He must have. What would he have been? He would have been 50 something.
And the rest, bloody hell. The boy Arnold, that's Phil Arnold. He's actually in the advert for this watch along. 3-0 Arsenal, no excuses. You're damn right, Philip. You're damn right. Right then, let's kick off. Here we go. Oh, come on, Arsenal. You're not 1-0 up already. Jesus Christ.
Right, I've just got to warn you. I'm on my Now TV subscription, so I'm about 20 seconds behind you. So if I'm slow to react to things, you know why.
Which is perfect. So myself and Buck can go through it all. Oh, it's an early shot from Lucas Moura. Bloody hell, just making sure Martinez is awake. Christ alive. Yeah, so what will happen
way
then?
forward from us, because I'm still watching Michael Oliver just wave at Mourinho and blow kisses.
Well, you two could do the analysis of what I've seen. That's what we'll do. There we go. Davinson Sanchez, I'm really surprised that he started this game.
I actually like Sanchez when he's paired up with Alderweireld. He needs someone to kind of coordinate him and tell him where he needs to stand. He's a little bit Bambi on ice. And Alderweireld kind of does that. He's a natural communicator and a big leader in the back line. But that back line has changed so many times, and it's such a mess that I can't really see how you could put any of them in there and it's not going to fix it.
Do you think then Davinson Sanchez should be playing as part of a back three? That will make him look a little bit better, a bit like David Luiz, you know, decent defender, but don't trust him. So play him in a back three. Not saying it will go missing in that, but he's just got a little bit more support.
I think so, but then you could say the same about Aurier. Stick him in a back four, doesn't work. Put three at the back, and actually he doesn't look quite so out of place. But it's which player do you actually want to try and get the best out of, and which player you're trying to cover up. You can't work with both of them. You can only bend around one weakness in your team. You can't bend around multiple weak points.
Yeah, I understand that. Spurs are on the front foot in the first couple of minutes here. Who's that? Lucas Moura. He's looking for someone. Winks is there trying to help him. But yeah, it's cleared away from Arsenal. So it looks like the way that Spurs have sort of lined up, it's like, right, let's just go press Arsenal early. Let's not let them get much possession. And if we do that, then we should be in a more comfortable position. That's what it looks like.
Gav, who do you think needs the win more out of this?
That's a tough one, mate.
Spurs.
Well, there's only a point between them at the moment, and both teams can still get into a Europa League spot. I think Champions League spots are just a little bit too far out now, even if fifth spot does become a Champions League spot. So
I think the finances and the impact that you've seen certainly on Spurs from COVID, I would say that they categorically need European football. They have to. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at mass sales just to cover off paying off the debt. Yeah. They need Champions League football. They need European football as a minimum in Europa League. There's no way that club will hang on to any of those big players without it. And if you lose those big players, and I am really targeting Harry Kane, if you lose him, we know there's no investment going into that squad to replace him. So that is it. Like Spurs finished and probably only finishing top 10 at best for quite some time.
I think the problem is at the minute as well is obviously Tottenham haven't been playing very good, and that directly impacts Kane because, like you said earlier, he doesn't really get the service. So, I mean, would people be willing to spend 150, 200 million on Kane at the minute?
Who's got the 200 million to spend on him anyway? Even Barcelona is basically saying we're going to buy a bunch of freebies, sell the best players off that cost us too much money because really we can't afford to do it. And that's Barcelona.
I'm just having a look at the Spurs fixtures after this game. They've got 3 games after this. They've got Newcastle away during the week. They've got Leicester at home next weekend, and they've got Palace away on the last game of the season. So Spurs need to win this game. I think a draw out of the Leicester game wouldn't be a bad result. But then they should be beating Newcastle. They should be beating Crystal Palace. So there is a decent chance for Spurs to go off and do what they need to do. So I'll probably say that Spurs need this victory more than anything.
My worry with those 2 fixtures is we know that Palace gets set up to be quite defensive and quite rigid, and Spurs can't break teams down. They just can't. If you have a lack of creativity, you will not break down a defensive unit. So that doesn't look like an easy fixture for me in any way, shape or form. Likewise,
the Leicester game is going to be, because Leicester are obviously on their drop off at the minute. If United win on Monday, they go above Leicester. So Leicester will be going into that Tottenham game knowing they need a win. They need to secure that European spot. So that's not going to be an easy game at all either.
And if you're Jamie Vardy and the pace that he's got, that our back line at the minute doesn't have any pace in it.
Yeah, it's not ready for Jamie Vardy. A ball over the top from Jamie Vardy. No way. No way.
Sit a little bit deeper.
Yeah, that's what you got to do against Leicester. Do not play a high line against Jamie Vardy and Leicester, because you're just playing into their hands.
I think that is where, as much as I don't rate him as a centre back, I think that's where you'd have to play someone like Dyer with Sanchez against Vardy, because there's no way you could risk having Alderweireld or Vertonghen trying to keep up.
I'd go the other way. I'd play Alderweireld over Eric Dyer any day, purely because if you've got a much better footballing brain defensively and you can read the play and read where you need to be, you can often get away with not always having that sprint pace.
Yeah,
whereas Eric Dyer, I don't think has got centre half's brain.
No, I don't think he's got a very good footballing brain, if I'm perfectly honest.
It seems like one of those sort of players, though, who's great at leading people in terms of, like the encouragement on the pitch and just getting themselves about. So I think that's why he probably gets played so much. He doesn't know whether he didn't want to play right back, if you remember, way back when. Centre half, I don't really trust him at centre half. I don't really trust him at centre mid either. But it just feels like his presence is more than enough for him to start games. But then where does that leave Spurs? You're technically playing with 10 men.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Dyer several seasons ago now, when Mourinho was over at United, he looked every inch a capable defensive midfielder. But he's had his injuries. He's had that whole issue with, I think it was an appendix that he was having out. And he's just not looked the same player. Is that confidence? Don't know. Is it fitness? Don't know. Is it the constant changing of positionings? Maybe. But he's not the same player that he was. Nowhere near it.
Takes a nice free kick every now and then, though, doesn't he, old Eric Dyer?
And that's the Portuguese training.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sport in Lisbon. You learnt it there, son. You learnt it there.
Yeah, Nani and Ronaldo both got it from there. So.
Right, Arsenal on the break here. Tierney cross. Whoa! That had to get ahead of the way there from Toby. And it's an early corner for Arsenal. I don't. Right, this is Sissoko's fault here. No, it's not Sissoko. I'm lying. That was Serge Aurier. Bloody hell. That's Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain issue there with Gibbs. It was Aurier. He just sort of didn't really commit to try and winning the ball there, and it's ended up going all the way through into Tierney. And Arsenal got a corner here, and it's going to be taken by Danny Ceballos.
It's such a strange one. When Aurier was at PSG and Spurs got linked, I thought, oh God, no, please don't let him go Spurs. Like I thought he was so good, like basically the second coming of Antonio Valencia sort of thing. And then he got to the English Premier League, and it was like, oh. Well,
Arsenal got linked with him as well, but his attitude was stinking. Do you remember when he got banned from PSG? Well, he didn't actually get sent off or anything. He was just causing drama.
Didn't he? He posted a video of him slagging off the manager and saying that the manager was XYZ, and then dropped him.
Right, I've just got to say, we've just received our first ever comment via Twitch. So congratulations to up top, everybody. It's from DJ Tricks. Hi, DJ Tricks. Thanks for watching the show with us. Spurs have always been an attacking team. We need a 4-3-3 attack, an attack-minded manager like Poch. Now, there's a lot of talk whether Poch should still be in charge or not. Should they have moved on? I think Poch was perfect for Spurs. I think the issue is that he didn't get the financial backing, and I don't want to start with this Enoch out or that sort of stuff, but I think he might end up going there.
I'll start with Enoch out.
If you'd have said to me that they let Poch go, or he went, or whatever, and it was due to him not getting financial backing, if you'd have said to me, there's one manager in the world that you wouldn't want to go to a club that doesn't want to give them financial backing.
Ball over. Oh, Hurricane! Oh, wow. That was brilliant goalkeeping from Martinez, just coming out just at the right time. The ball got flicked over, and Harry Kane is literally about 12 yards out, just trying to lift it over the keeper. And yeah, it stays 0-0. But that's the sort of ball. And if Spurs can continue doing those sort of balls, because Arsenal look lost at the back already, it's crazy.
I'll see it in about 10 seconds.
You'll say it in a minute. Please show the game. Someone's put, hey, look, stick Sky Sports on your telly box and then just comment with us. There you go. Or just listening to it on TalkSport or 5 Live or whatever they decide to put it on today.
Oh yeah, that is a nice ball. Oh, should he be doing better there? Does he need to lob the keeper? Can he take a touch?
I think he can. Well, this is a striker who we know is the best marksman in Premier League football right now, but he's lacking a bit of confidence. He hasn't got the confidence to knock that down, but that is really good goalkeeping because he's come out quickly to break that down.
It's a lovely ball through from Lucas Moura as well.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of
the fullback on his right foot and then just lift it over.
He's getting a lot of flack, isn't he, Lucas Moura, at the moment from Spurs fans?
Again, I think it's that whole thing of you either get a 9 out of 10 player or you get a 6 out of 10 player. More often than not, you get the 6. But that's why they bought him. You didn't buy him to be Steady Eddie. You didn't buy him to be Harry Winks. You bought him to be highly creative and to take players on because it's the one thing that we don't really have in the front players. And
I still think if he started the Champions League final, it would have been a different ball game altogether. I still think that. I think
so do I. It was Liverpool should never have been dropped.
Yeah, he did. A couple of comments coming in from Periscope. Tottenham will always be in our shadows. You damn right, son. You damn right. And that's my neutralness going back in. North London is red, correct. BJ Trixie's coming back on. He's what's he saying here? He lost the Champions League final. The team fell apart. Need more investment. And Olivia's too much of a greedy person to allow sales and get rid of dead wood. Now, I think there might be a little resentment when it comes to purchases, just because of how the money was spent when they sold David Luiz. Got David Luiz on the brain because there's come on, get in there. Kieran Tierney's trying to follow it up there a little bit.
Listen, we can all be critical of how Spurs spent the money after the Gareth Bale exchange. You know, they went about it like a kid in a candy shop that had been given 10 quid extra by his mum. But it was just a free for all, and they were just buying any old rubbish just to try and fill out the numbers and hope that one of them worked really well.
Indeed, yeah, Bale it was. Sorry, I just couldn't get Bale's name out then. But yeah, that money was spent badly. Yeah, but regardless of pre-pot, the owners are still there. They're still the same people. That money was spent badly.
But that's the same that you've had that throughout the whole time with Levy. Underinvestment. He does occasionally oversell in terms of price that he gets back again, but it means that you're sitting with dead wood for a really long amount of time. Look at the Luka Modric situation. Yes, you sold him. Yes, you sold him for good money, but he was messing around on your sidelines and not anywhere near performing for ages. Dimitar Berbatov, same thing.
It's like I was saying before.
David Luiz. I don't know how he made that tackle.
Honestly, when you've got a chairman like Levy and you've got the squad of players you've got at the minute with the dead wood, and you don't really have the money to invest, the last person you want to hire is Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, because you need money.
The one manager you want to hire when you've got a need to use your youth system and to get the best out of what you got and tinker with it is the manager they let go.
Yeah, I don't think they should have let him go. I don't. But I still think there was more went on behind the scenes there than we were told. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Amazon thing had a massive amount to do with it. By the way, we've seen the advertisements on Facebook already, and it's an utter embarrassment. Just the advertisements alone, you just go, oh no.
Arsenal on a break here. That's had a bit of an advantage there. Aubameyang on the edge of the box. He's just found Xhaka. He's looking. He's got Tierney on the edge. And he's just trying to take on Sissoko, but he can't get past him. And Arsenal, they're going back towards the halfway line. So that's the excitement of that bit gone. Ghost 300,000. That's what we're going to call you. Tottenham have only achieved a 5-star stadium. Yes, that's all they've got. That's all they've got at the moment. But they need
They've a 5-star training facility as well.
Oh, congratulations! Yeah, it's a lovely stadium. It's brilliant. Yeah, but you need to be doing more. You need to be doing more.
We've got the infrastructure. I get why they've prioritized that. I get why they've done it. But now's the time when you have to go and invest and fill that stadium with a team that will actually be worthy of playing in that stadium. Whereas I don't think that's ENIC's game. ENIC simply want to create an increase in assets and revenues. And once they've got that, they're either going to sell it or they're just going to stop investing in the players and just try and cream off the fact that the youth system's all right. But they didn't do that at Glasgow. Was it Glasgow Rangers they took over and they had the same issue then?
I don't really know the history of ENIC and the crew down Seven Sisters Road, but to be honest, the way the club's run, I don't really have as much knowledge on it as a lot of Spurs fans. But what I do know just from the outset, looking in, is that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Arsenal on the front foot again. Oh my God! What a strike! Lacazette, 2-2 for him as well. What a strike that is, mate! Oh my Lord!
I think there's been a goal.
Hey! Bomba! Look at that! Wow!
Right,
Wow!
Mine's just about to come. But yeah, go back.
Look at this.
Hold on.
Who's made the mistake there? Oh, Serge Aurier, shock. 22, 23 yards. Is it that so hard? He's used to score goals like that at Lyon all the time as well. Oh my God, look at that. Jesus Christ! Go Arsenal!
Come on. Oh yeah, heavy touch from Aurier. Doesn't win the tackle back.
Yeah, keep it
no ahead of Sky Go here.
The swaz on that. Woo!
Swaztastic, mate.
There we go. The heavy head from Aurier.
Does it take a deflection?
Awful touch from Aurier.
Does that take a deflection or does that just fly top bins?
No, I think that's top bins.
No, is it that so sweetly?
Do you know what? I'm gonna go to bat for Serge Aurier here.
What?
It's not a great first. It's not a great first touch, but I think he's just trying to intercept the ball. He's done half of his job by getting in the way and making that interception.
Nah.
Could he get to? He should win the second tackle.
It's the second tackle for me that's the issue.
You don't expect. Well, you might expect, but
fly through that. Wipe the bloke out.
That's a strike, mate. Jesus Christ!
But do you know what? The way he went in then for that second ball, he's gone in with both feet. If he goes in a little harder and Xhaka goes down, it could be a yellow or even a red. Only 15 minutes into the game.
If already got a red card, we'd be better off.
But would you want to play another 75 minutes with Aurier already on a yellow with Lacazette and Aubameyang?
Oh, here we go. Looks like it's going to be 1-1 now.
74 minutes without Aurier.
It's 1-1. Son, David Luiz is back.
Oh, here we go. Come on.
Oh, no. Look at this. David Luiz, he's just got completely lost as to where the ball's meant to be here.
I've just had kickoff. I'm way behind.
And he's not even made any effort. This is poor. Right, so here we go. Oh no, it's a terrible ball back by Kolasinac. He's actually sold David Luiz down the street there. Yeah, and Son's through 1-on-1. Yeah, it's 1-1. It's 1-1. This is terrible for Kolasinac. He's not even looking. He doesn't even need to play it backwards. He's under no pressure whatsoever. Yeah,
that's a great through
exactly.
ball. That's a great through ball from Kolasinac.
Yeah, exactly. What's
great
that about,
finish,
man?
Great finish.
Yeah. So Arsenal not even in the lead for 2 minutes, and it's we're all square again.
I don't think you can blame David Luiz too much there.
No, you can't. Now I've seen it again. It's Kolasinac.
Luiz isn't expecting the pass because it shouldn't. I mean, the idea to. Oh no, that's not Luiz. Luiz is already moving. He's already coming towards the ball, and Kolasinac has just sent him to the hospital with that. I don't know what that was.
Right, just going back to
an assist for Kolasinac, which Spurs will be really grateful for. You know,
yes, it's on
assist in about 3 games.
Luis straight away turned around and went.
Yeah, I thought that was just a classic show of David Luiz again. But you'll see it again, and he's not at fault there.
No, he's on the wrong side of him as well. He was already moving over to his left-hand side. The ball's been played to his right-hand side. By the time you twist and turn around, you've lost all your momentum. He's not getting to that.
Celso's got a booking as well. Not quite sure what for. He's barely played this season. He's got 6 bookings.
Do you know what? I don't mind the fact that he's got some bookings. I quite like the fact that at least he's putting his foot into something, which makes a change from everybody else on the team. So
there's one I think it was against Chelsea when he should have got sent off. Was it against Chelsea? Can't remember. But like chopping man on the halfway line, and he ended up like.
You need that. There are times when you need to be far more cynical and take that yellow card for the team. The Celso seems to have the right head that he wants to go and do that. But where's that?
That's the Celso there, just driving through people. It looks like it's going to be 2-1 here to Spurs. No, Sissoko couldn't get the ball out of his feet there. But that was the Celso, won the ball like 25 yards inside his own half and just went on a major charge. Now Arsenal got a chance to break now. Aubameyang's just found Pepe. Pepe's got Ben Davies in his eyes and he's got Xhaka overlapping. He doesn't really want it on his right peg though. He's crossed it with his left foot. Lacazette is looking. Pepe's kept it in. It's both teams don't look very confident at all.
Well, I would say both goals have come from defensive errors. Really.
Just a comment there. Let's swap Kolasinac for Aurier. You're all right, thanks. I'm busy doing my hair that day.
I was going to say, if you're getting rid of one of them, you don't want to bring one of the others in.
You don't want the other one back.
Just get rid of one.
That was actually really good defending from David Luiz to stop Sissoko there. I'm actually quite impressed with David Luiz in that situation.
Who would you rather have, though, in your team, regardless of which side you're on? Who would you rather have, Serge Aurier or Kolasinac?
Kolasinac. All day. I could play Kolasinac centre mid if I want to as well.
Oh, you can play Aurier centre mid. He's probably safer there.
Kolasinac used to play centre mid occasionally for Schalke.
Yeah.
So, and he was pretty good. There's another comment here. Not Toilet, not 0-0. Well, Toilet, I still think it is in terms of defensive work. So there's a lot of defensive questions that we need to answer here. But as from a neutral point of view, what do you think of it so far, Cotton?
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh, what a ball! Oh, it's offside. Lo Celso, sorry, before you carry on, Lo Celso's just fed a ball through to Harry Kane. And the vision of it is beautiful, but yeah, Harry Kane just about half a yard offside. But really good goalkeeping as well from Martinez. But I think that's what Spurs fans are missing. That person in behind playing those naughty little through balls, a bit like how that's happened. And now we've got the drinks break.
Yeah, so from a neutral's point of view, it's 1-1 after 22 minutes. So for me to say that it's still been a bit, it's not as explosive as I thought it would be. It sounds silly, but it hasn't been as explosive as I thought it would be. It's been a bit end to end, but if either team had a bit more bite about them going forward, it could be a lot different. I've just seen that Kane chance there that was offside. How far off was he? How far? I'm like,
it's not a great deal offside. It is off.
Surely
about half a yard.
Surely that should be one of those cases where you play on, and if he scores,
match officials, we buzz off those sort of decisions. You know, like when the last man's running off the last defender, sort of thing. You practice those a lot. You get those
pretty
right.
Far offside. Right, it's not like we're talking his toenail or his fingernail or anything. That's a pretty clear offside call.
Love giving those decisions.
That Son finish is really nice.
Nice. He's still got a lot of work to do, hasn't he? And he's done really well to dink that over the goalkeeper. And we're back in. It's one apiece. got mad excited for a hot minute, and yeah, here we go.
Well, they're showing the replays on the fan cams. Why is the guy wearing the mask in his own house watching the game?
Oh, I know idea. Oh, Sergio, it's just
don't even get me started on masks. People that drive their own cars and are wearing a mask. Honestly, boys, are you afraid of your own germs?
Yeah, must be. Sergio Aurier just chopped Tierney. I think it's just a free kick. Oh no, he hasn't. I don't think he's caught him actually. Awkward. Take it. A bit more possession for the Arsenal. There we go. Forgot that we have biased referees in this game. God help us now. I know Michael Oliver personally is definitely not biased. He's a massive Newcastle United fan. I can tell you that. And he's probably
I don't think the officiating's been that bad so far. I think it's.
No, I think it's been fine. I don't think there's anything major that's happened in this game which we should be questioning. But
and I think Mourinho likes Michael Oliver as a goalkeeper. He just doesn't like him when he's running VAR.
As a goalkeeper,
not goalkeeper, as a referee. Well, he's not a goalkeeper, to be fair.
No, I'll tell you who was a good goalkeeper. Andre Mariner. He was on the books at Villa when he was a kid. Yeah.
Blimey.
Very good goalkeeper, and yeah, he got released when he was a kid, and just played semi-pro football, then went into refereeing.
Wow!
So there you go.
I'll tell you what, just a quick one. Currently, Granit Xhaka and Aurier to get booked in this game will fetch you a nice 12-1 right now.
Really? I would have thought that would be shorter. That's worth a tenner, isn't it?
Little bet builder on 365, and yeah.
There are other betting sites.
Yeah, obviously we're not advocating gambling or 365.
Be safe. Gambleaware.org and all that jazz.
Stops and all that.
Here we go. Come on, Arsenal, mate. Christ alive.
Do you know? And I said it before the game, and I'll say it now. That this is one of the first games I've watched where the lack of crowd is really noticeable, and it does feel like it's taken a little bit off the game.
Oh, Serge Aurier, mate. The ball is pretty much out, and he's touched it on its way out under no pressure, and Arsenal got a corner. That is classic Serge Aurier. So sad. Right.
So sad.
So sad. Right. Question. What are we saying about England's best goalkeeper for the Euros then? Pope, Hendo or Pickford? Right. Okay. Let's just put one thing into perspective now. Pickford is nowhere near it.
No.
Can I just say one thing after watching that Everton game? How Jordan Pickford has watched Dean Henderson keep a clean sheet against Chelsea and put in a good performance, watch that Nick Pope performance against Liverpool, and then decides to turn up
like that
with that stinky performance.
Because he knows he's going to start. That's why he knows he's going to start. It's so embarrassing.
When he dropped that clanger, my mate rang me while we were during the game, and he said, right, when he dropped that clanger and he picked it up, he was like, Pickford's laughing and like winking at people, like, whoa, close one. And it's like, could you imagine if that was another Prem goalkeeper that like they'd get absolutely hammered. Absolutely hammered, and he just thought it was a bit of a laugh, like, oh, nearly gave another goal away here. But he's simply not good enough, man.
No, I don't think so. Pope or Henderson says Tricks. I want to throw something back at you, Tricks, right now. Man United, should they keep hold of De Gea, or should they bring Henderson back and make him number one at Man United? That's questions for you, Tricks. But we'll give that within the group as well. So I think that is a bold shout, and I think it should happen. Henderson is brilliant.
I'd say Henderson. For England. Oh, actually, no. I'll tell you what. If it was here's the answer. If the Euros were this summer, it would have been Nick Pope. Now the Euros are next year. Giving Hendo another year, I think it's Hendo. And as far as do we bring Hendo back in with the De Gea thing, I've said it many times before. We as a club owe so much to De Gea. Not only for his performances that kept us in European qualification, etc. He could have gone to Madrid at his peak and won some titles and won some bits and decided not to.
His peak. He's meant to be peaking now.
No, but he's definitely not playing as good as he was 2 years ago.
It's fallen off. He's had 2, maybe 3 brilliant seasons. Lo Celso's just about to take a corner for Spurs. Just coming on to the half-hour mark now, and yeah, Spurs have got a corner. Lo Celso whips it in, and it's headed away by Mustafi. Is it coming back? No. Imagine that. Harry Winks plays a backward pass. There you go.
So Ben
Davis! He's just hit the ball from about 40 yards out. Oh my God, if that had gone in. Oh, and it's come back off the bar and Harry Kane's now offside. But this is a slap and a half, mate. Honestly. So here we go. It's about 35, 40 yards out. I think Martinez might even got a little touch on that, you know. Oh, he has. Has he? Has he got a touch on that? What a save. That's going top bins. Martinez, honestly, given the Golden Glove, who's Jan Oblak?
Right, so I'm assuming he's going to hit this now. Oh!
Christ.
The bar's still shaking.
Still shattering now. I'm about 10 minutes ahead of you, boys. Is it that sweet as well? But where's the Arsenal defence there? Why is no one putting any pressure on? Where's Xhaka? Where's Ceballos in that situation?
And you're right. If he doesn't get a touch on that, that's going top.
A hell of a strike from that distance.
Gorgeous strike.
Hell of a strike. Right, from a fullback now. Well.
Here we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Pepe, about 25 yards out. Left peg, just whistles past the post. But once again, where's the pressure? Why is no one closing him down? No one closed him down there. No one closed down Ben Davis a second ago for Arsenal. So why is there so much respect being shown between both sides at the moment? It's getting sad now.
There's no crowd there giving it the big, and there's no. He's not roiling people up. There isn't the intensity and the fight there at the minute. Further on into the game, if we see a few little naughty challenges, it might get a bit feisty, but. At the minute, it doesn't look like a derby.
No, it doesn't.
So, just taking it back, we were talking about Lucas Moura earlier about having his 9 out of 10 moments, and then 6 out of 10 because we haven't seen him all game. Who has seen Lucas Moura since he played that ball through to give the Kane chance?
Yeah.
Is he even playing?
Well, what I would say as well, literally, he's just had that shot. But until Pepe's just had that shot, we haven't really seen much of him this game either.
Pepe's at least got the argument that he's young.
No, he's not as young as people think.
Proven international.
Yeah, but he's 25.
Pepe's 25, yeah. He's not that much younger than Moura, really.
No, I think Moura's about 29.
28, is he 28, 29? But Pepe's 25. He's not Jesse Lingard. He's not 18 and full of potential.
I left that comment on the screen for a few moments because I wanted to come back to that. By the way, Lucas Moura is going to be 28 next month. In fact, a month tomorrow is going to be 28. I've left that comment on the screen there. Flashbacks there of the amazing Danny Rose scorcher. Can you go back and have a look at that goal and have a look at Almunia's positioning and what he does and how he attempts to make a save? That goal is probably the most overrated goal ever. If it weren't his debut, no one would care less.
Gav, you could have just stopped. You could have said, "Go back and watch Almunia." You don't need to tell us he's out of position and he's made a mistake. Just to say it's Almunia, and we know.
Aurier, surely he's going to get booked for that. He's going to bring it back. Yeah, he's bringing it back, and he's going to get a yellow card for that. Serge Aurier has now got a yellow card.
There's party 12-1, so you're just waiting on Xhaka.
Did you stick it on?
I might have done.
Good lad.
I might have done.
I might not have done. I'll be saying like this.
While we've got a little break in the excitement, I've got a stat for you here. And I want to see if you can tell me the 2 players. Only 2 players this century have recorded 20 goals and 20 assists in a league season. Who are they?
I know one of them already. So what we'll put out to the viewers. Well, I was going to put them out to the viewers, Buck.
Wait, let's take the obvious one out of the equation.
Yeah, so take Thierry Henry out of the equation. So
I think the other one's pretty obvious as well, really, isn't it? I mean, if you think of anyone in world football now that's got 20 goals and 20 assists in one season,
we'll leave it out there. I'll stick it on the bottom of the screen.
Those numbers scream, I'm the only person that does anyone for this club. So, right, and obviously, again, there's not much going on right now. Thoughts, Gav, quickly. Aston Villa game earlier. There was a few handballs for defenders where they were fired at them from quite close, but they're definite handballs, right? Nothing given, right? Which is fair enough. They can't make their hands invisible. Did you see the two penalties? And I'm going to use the term awarded. I'd rather use gifted. Did you see the two penalties gifted to Juventus last night in their 2-2 draw?
Yeah, I have seen them back since we had our conversation.
Absolutely. Don't ever try and tell me that the problem of fixing in that league is done and dusted, because I'm sorry, man. Like, he's literally 2 foot away from the geezer. His hands are down by his side, and it's hit his wrist. What does he want him to do? You'd have to be Neo to not give away a penalty there. Like, what do you? I mean, the guy from the Matrix, not the singer with the hat. But it's scandalous. But they were saying that, so in Italy, their handball rule is the same as what we have for our strikers rule, where it doesn't matter what part of your hand it touches and if it's on purpose, it's a penalty. Which is, I think that's even worse than the one we've got.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was watching that game and I couldn't believe that they'd got 2 get out of jail free cards, and if I was an Atlanta player after that, I'd be absolutely raging.
I'd be highly disappointed in it as well, if I'm honest. And imagine being on the receiving end of it as well. You'd just be like, mate.
Well,
what are you expecting me to do with my arms there?
Yeah, the 91st minute penalties against Luis Muriel, and honestly, like, again, I don't physically know what the ref expects him to do, and it comes down to that thing where I know they were saying it the other day that you can't apply common sense because the law is the law and the rule is the rule. But apply some common sense, man. It's 91st minute of the game. He's 2 yards away from him. He's absolutely cannoned it at his hand. By his side, it's not. He hasn't made an attempt to block a shot or stop it. It's hit him.
It has. We've got a special guest.
Henry Martinez.
Hello.
Oh, a special guest. There. Hello.
Christ,
yeah.
Alex, we're about to turn the sound down. We're about to turn the sound down on your TV screen, Monfrey.
Yeah. I will be able to turn the sound down on the TV. Yeah, I'll be able to do that.
Gracias. What's it like down there? Was it good?
It was promising. There will be another meeting in the near future.
Was it 40 minutes?
Was it anything like going to like a nightclub when you're 16, when you're meant to be 18 to get in and doing things on dance floors?
Yes, very much so.
I mean?
Cutting shapes, being able to mix it with the big boys.
Yeah, I'll be careful saying, is it like 16?
No. You mean like we were 16 years old?
Yes,
we were going to nightclubs.
But it sounded, yeah.
Gav encouraging underage drinking. That's what you get from us.
Yeah. It's called training. You start training early. But Alex, welcome to the show. There's a question on the bottom of the screen.
Apologies for missing it, but I was listening to it on the radio on the way in, and of course, what happens is my favourite player, Lacazette, scoring a banger, and then David Luiz mistake.
No, it's not David Luiz. Not David Luiz's fault.
It was not. Okay, Matthew Upson was absolutely laying into Luiz on the radio, saying he was on his heels, he didn't react to it. Kolasinac kind of passed it to him, and it was, he was just falling asleep.
Kolasinac plays the most pinpoint perfect through ball to Heung-min Son. It's got nothing to do with Luiz, man.
He played on the opposite side of David Luiz where he was running.
Do you know what?
you can't
Do you know
blame
what, that just goes to highlight then. I think that they have narratives on TV or radio, and then if something suits it, they go with it.
Trickster, they're literally, that's not what the rule is changing to in as of next season. So they're talking about t-shirt line. So anything below your sleeve is handball, and then the shoulder up is now okay.
Which is hilarious, though, Trickster. And the reason why I'm coming to you on this one as well, Tricks, because I'm not sure if you saw the Palace, the Villa Palace game, but Sacco has scored a header, which looked like a header, and then went to VAR because it's come off the top of his shoulder, literally like the top of your collarbone. It's come off there, and they've disallowed it for handball, and I'm flabbergasted by it.
I was the only reason I was very interested to see if they'd overturn it is because it was very, very similar to the Eric Bailly penalty the other week. And I was thinking, if you're going to give that for literally touching the top of his shoulder there, then that's got to be. I say not. It shouldn't be. Neither of them should be a foul. But
no.
I mean, yeah. How can the top of your shoulder be counted as a handball? That's just stupid.
How many times have you seen players bump a goal in? Give it a little chest to me and like.
Cristiano Ronaldo loves it.
Yeah.
How many goals has he scored doing that?
Or unless Nani steals it on the line.
Or Ramsey.
Yeah.
Oh, there's been a couple of shots. So there's a free kick a moment ago from Aubameyang who hit it wide, and then Pepe's just had a shot on target there as well. Other than that, it's like they're trying to work each other out still.
Yeah. It's been a classic. It sounds like it's been a classic Arsenal away performance recently, where they try and just keep it tight. I think
Kolasinac is. He should have.
I told you, I've never been a big fan of him. I've never been a big fan of him.
No, I've been a fan of him.
I don't mind him.
I just think he's a bit too stiff. He has this annoying, frustrating trait that when he gets into good positions to cross the ball, he will always, no matter what, go to the byline and try the cutback. Maybe that's because he's come from the Bundesliga and that's what they're just taught to do all the time. But even when he's got enough space, he doesn't do that. I mean, look at the difference in quality of, that Tierney delivers compared to what Kolasinac does.
Yeah,
it's night and day.
We got that quick trivia question. I'm not quite sure if the viewers at home put their £2 worth in or not. So yeah, the question is that Cotton put earlier on. 2 players have scored 20 goals and got 20 assists in a Premier League season.
It's not Premier League season. It's a league season.
Oh, in a league season. Yeah. Oh, it was just in the Premier League.
Yeah, because I think it's only happened once in the Premier League, and that was Thierry Henry.
Yeah. No, league season. Because that's why I said, who in world football right now would have 20 assists and 20 goals for their one team because they just carry them constantly.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, that's. I thought it was just in the Premier League.
I imagine Messi. Probably Messi.
It won't be Ronaldo because he doesn't assist anything.
No, it's Messi.
Someone else.
Well, no, Ronaldo just scores goals.
Yeah.
Scores penalties.
Ronaldo's playing style has evolved over the years, though. I think. He's nowhere near because when he joined Man United back when he was 18, he was a proper winger. That was Ronaldo as a winger then. And then when he kind of joined Real Madrid, that's when he kind of transitioned into being like you want to go down again, football manager terms, inside forward, wasn't he? Sort of left inside forward.
I know. Solid striker.
Tottenham got a corner here.
I still know which one I'd rather have in my team.
You'd have Ronaldo.
Yeah, the guy's a freak.
Oh, Ceballos. He's done well to get out of that one. Here come Arsenal on the counter attack. Pepe on the wide right. Oh, he's trying to find a ball inside. I don't understand why he's done that because he had 2 men over, and now Spurs are back on the attack. Lucas Moura is on the edge of the box. He's squared it to Son, and Son's just dilly-dallying a little bit. He's not really getting much help, to be fair, and all the Arsenal players have been able to get back. Just don't give away anything stupid. Well done, boys. There we go.
Unless it's Granit Xhaka.
Okay, it's Granit Xhaka, yellow card required for Stephen Cotton.
Yeah.
Is that what you got on for this game?
I had a double, Aurier and Xhaka to get carded.
12-1 it stretched out to.
Wow. And has Ori been red carded? Has Ori been carded?
Yeah, he picked him back about 10 minutes ago. So that's Bellerin on the right hand side now. He's got Pepe inside. Is trying to. Oh, that's a foul, surely. What? How's that? Bloody hell. So Lo Celso's off. He's got. Oh, yes. Lo Celso's on his way. And Lacazette's just now picked himself up a yellow card for chopping him down on the halfway line. But to be honest, like their shoulder barging and their shoulder to shoulder is literally like eating him alive.
I thought you said Lo Celso's gone as if he's been sent off.
No, Lo Celso is on a yellow card though, so he's got to be very careful. Yes, that. Yeah, you could do, right, there you go. That is proof in the pudding as to why that Saka goal should not have been given up today. You could do keepy up, he's on your shoulder. Yeah. How many times have we seen that? The ball comes over, little couple on your shoulder.
Yeah. Look at that, Lacazette's been booked 7 times this season.
Yeah, passion, mate. It's passion.
Oh, that's naughty.
Oh, don't. You're just trying to trigger me. He's just trying to trigger me.
Do you know what? I would love the confidence. I'd love to have the confidence of a footballer who has definitely fouled someone and still turns around to the ref and goes, "What? What a ref? A yellow? Are you what? Like I've barely even broken his leg, ref."
Kolasinac almost put Arsenal in danger again there. There was a dangerous cross just put in, and Kolasinac just stood there like he had a call from behind him, and you could tell that he didn't. And luckily, David Luiz was there to clean up his mess. He needs to come off at half time. Well, but aneurysm here, I tell you.
Well, what I would do is I would move Tierney to that left centre half position and bring on Saka and put Saka as the left wing back.
That is a great shout. That was a great shout. Both of them can deliver.
Yeah, both of them can deliver. Saka's got the energy to play that position, and it's wide left, isn't it? So Kolasinac is awful.
Oh, Pepe, you naughty boy! Oh my God, who's that?
Since I've been watching, Ceballos has done some really great work.
Ben Davies has just picked up a yellow card as well.
Oh, so Pepe looks silly. Pepe makes other players look silly in this already.
Pepe's just got rid of Lo Celso, nice and easy. And Ben Davies, that's a beautiful yellow card to take.
There's a couple of comments I can see here from Trixie where he's it's unfortunate about Martinelli picking up an injury to the end of the season, but hopefully he'll come back fresh and he'll do the same thing that Mason Greenwood's done and put on a bit of bulk in his time away. But I think he's also mentioned about Henry and Lampard about the 20 goals, 20 assists thing. I mean, Lampard potentially could have done that, and I don't know if he ever actually did that in all competitions.
All competitions, maybe. You'll be shocked and shocked and appalled to know that the player with the least amount of touches in this game,
Harry Kane.
There you go. He's touched the
surprised.
ball. He's touched the ball 14 times.
I'm not surprised.
With only 37% accurate pass rate as well. I mean, read of that what you will. It's only the first half, but
yeah, and also it only takes one moment, and he's made it 2-1. So you don't know what's going on with Kane there. But it's half time. Everybody at home, it's half time. It's one apiece between.
What do people think is going to be the final score? In the comments, it'd be nice to know where people are at.
Oh, where we are now, because there were some comments earlier on while you're getting your willy wet.
I could see the comments earlier on, but what are people saying now after the first half? Where do they think it's going?
Yeah, very interesting. Throw your comments in there, people, whoever's watching.
And
tell your pals. Tell your pals.
And if you do get a chance while there's nothing going on, head over to Twitter and see the Arsenal Fan TV's reaction to the equaliser. It's absolutely golden. Hold on. Breaking news, right? West Midlands Police have arrested someone. I'll fill it in a second. West Midlands Police have arrested after racist messages were sent to Crystal Palace winger Wilfried Zaha. Obviously, I don't know if you saw about that all this morning and what was going on.
No, I didn't see.
Did you not see it? So someone on an Aston Villa fan Instagram account this morning basically threatened Zaha, called him racist things, sent him racist images and stuff. Obviously, Zaha went to Roy Hodgson before the game. They spoke to the Premier League about it. They spoke to everyone about it, sort of thing. So they've arrested someone, 12-year-old boy.
What?
And that's not just around that Sky Sports breaking news. So,
oh my word!
But yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
I know what will happen there, because they'll be like, "Oh, he's only 12. He doesn't know. He's been taught that."
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, like. The problem is, and I know we're going down a different route, whatever, but stuff like Instagram and Twitter, you should have to verify your name and stuff to get an account. You should have to show your
passport, driving license.
Yeah, because that kid, right? If he gets, well, that account will be banned. He could get straight home from the police station, set up a new account, new email, back in business. And what's happened? What's
got to be driving license or passport.
It's got to be something like that going forward.
And it's not just for these racial comments and racial remarks that end up popping up. It's for anything. It's for your own safety as well. It's for your own safety. That's what it should be. That, you know. It's embarrassing. Look at your man who was kicking off at Ian Wright as well.
Yeah,
the man. He was about 16, 17.
That was that. Wasn't that lad from? Was it Ireland? I think.
Yeah, Irish lad. Yeah.
And they got the police involved in that, didn't they?
But that's the thing.
They did. But once again, he was a teenager. But I just think that at the end of the day, these things are taught. You don't just wake up in the morning and just start saying certain things. Like that's been kids innocent until you guide them or teach them whatever you want to teach them. It doesn't matter what it is that you teach them, but you guide your kid to become the person you want them to be or whatever. So it's obvious that he's getting fed his information from his parents or someone of influence to be sprouting that sort of message.
And that's why I just arrested him. I mean, how can you arrest a 12-year-old? I mean, you can take him in, but you can't keep him in overnight. But that he needs to be educated. There needs to be a course. Or do you know what? If I was Zaha, I mean, he shouldn't have to, because he was on the end of that horrible abuse. He should go meet with the kid and sit down face to face and be like, okay, look me in the eye and tell me you think it's acceptable what you said about me and your views about me just because based on my race. And I'll tell you what, the kid wouldn't be a Billy Big Bollocks then, would they?
No, they wouldn't. I know this is a football stream, but I would like to just draw your attention to the cricket. And the Windies just need 20 to win. That's lovely. Anyway,
wow.
Back to the football.
Are they still 5 down?
Yeah, 180 for 5. Oh yeah, you haven't seen it, have you? There you go. That should have been a no ball as well from Stoke. See, just want Blackwood to get his century. That's what I would like. He's on 89.
I mean, I'll go back to it and say, why did Stoke select to bat when the conditions were clearly bowl first? That's cost England the game for me.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's raining on day one.
The first 2 days were just overcast, not ideal for batting at all.
Batting condition at all.
And then the next 3 days have been sunny, much better.
Gav, going back to what we said in the build-up to, I think, was it the build-up to the Wolves-Arsenal game, where I said that a certain Adama Traore doesn't have end product.
Oh, how lovely was his miss earlier on today?
That's what I mean. So I said he had no end product. Yeah, he's fast and he can run in a straight line, but come on.
It's like, it's he's running onto that with pace, but I'm not being funny. You're a pro footballer, mate. That
4 yards out with an open goal, not for me. Not
as bad as Ronnie Rosenthal. It's not that sort of level, but it's not far off.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that Son goal was nice. Other news, Leeds won again, 90th minute.
I'll let you boys talk about the Leeds situation, and I just want to know from the comments as well, who do you think is going to come up from the Championship, and also, if Leeds do come up, will they stay up? That's what I'd like to know.
I'll tell you what. If you're a Premier League team next season, and you maybe not got as much money to buy players, someone needs to be looking at the that Ben Rahama from Brentford.
He's doing all right.
He's so good, man. He's such a baller. He scored a hat trick the other day.
I understand it. He plays for Brentford, and is a Tunisian
Algerian
international or
Algerian,
Moroccan? Algerian. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, he's what's his stats this season so far? I know he scored a hat trick the other day. 17 goals in 40 games in the league this season as a winger, which isn't too bad. 8 assists. 24.
24. Okay. I mean,
might be worth a punt. If you're a team in the Prem that's looking for a winger, looking to shore up a little bit, it wouldn't be too bad.
Okay, so there's a question for. I know Gav's just stepped away from his laptop there, so you won't be able to put it up on the screen. But I can see the live comments here. I'll ask this to Bucky. It's got here, Spurs fans. Who would you sell? Who would you buy realistically?
I'd sell Daniel Levy for a start if I could. Do you know what? It comes back. We've mentioned this before. How much confidence do we have that any of those sales would actually be reinvested back into the squad? If I thought 100%, 80%, 90% of those sales would go back into the squad, I would carte blanche sell Harry Kane.
How much would you sell? How much would you take for him?
I think you've got to be looking at near enough world record fees.
But
especially when you take into account Daniel Levy and the way he negotiates things. So Harry Kane is not leaving for 100 mil or less. No way.
Do you know what I think the problem is at the minute? And it seems, especially since the restart, and I know it's been the same for the whole season or a year or two or whatnot, but it seems like at Spurs, and I know this is why you have beef with Levy and ENIC and stuff, but it literally is business and spreadsheets first and then worry about the football. Like the Spurs fans, then the question was, who would you bring in, who would you get rid of? So my instinct, I'd have initially said, well, I'll get rid of Aurier or XYZ and I'd bring in blah, blah. But even your first thought was, well, how much percentage of the sales are we going to get and how much? Yeah, which is
we not because it boils down to faith. Because ultimately, you want to reinvest in that squad. I think if you got rid of the two biggest assets and got 100% of that money back in, you could reinvest in that squad and actually rejuvenate it, giving you a much more rounded team. The fact that you're not going to get any of that money back in, and we both know it won't, then it's a different thing of who you get rid of. Then you just.
That's what I mean. But it's all down to finances. And at the end of the day, like us as fans, we're not accountants, and it's not my money. Like,
no.
And one of my friends is a Spurs fan, and he for the last week has been saying to me like it's not fair, and they're not investing, and blah blah blah. Listen, I follow a club that for the last 15 years our owners have taken nearly £750 million out of the club to fund their own projects, to pay off their own debts. Fair enough, we've spent every now and then, but it's not been for the right reasons. We spent on Pogba. It wasn't for footballing reasons. It was because Adidas sold £200 million worth of Pogba shirts in 2 days. So we know all about like owners being tyrants, but the problem, everyone focusing too much on money and turnover at the minute, it's getting out of hand.
I think if you were taking money out of the equation and you were just saying, how could you make that team better? The right back situation has to be fixed.
Yeah.
It's dreadful. Quite frankly, I'd rather have Kyle Walker-Peters playing there than Serge Aurier. But you need to fix a right back. I think they need to fix left back as well. I think Ben Davies is good in this Mourinho mold of having a defensive fullback that then tucks into centre half, but it's not the only option. You need somebody else as well.
Yeah.
Centre half situation, it's not good enough. Davinson Sanchez doesn't look right unless he's next to Toby Alderweireld. Alderweireld is, well, okay, he's 30, he's just agreed a new contract, he's got some legs left in him, but Vertonghen hasn't. He doesn't look anywhere near the same player. So
No.
You need a centre half. The midfield looks just devoid of any ability and creativity other than the Celso. So you need a creative midfielder. There's no defensive midfielder in there that I would say is a natural leader. Sissoko is an engine, but he's not a leader. Eric Dyer, when he plays there, just looks pretty much like the name on the back of his shirt. So you need a defensive mid. And then again, you've got the same problems of you need a forward to complement Harry Kane. The lad gets injured because he plays so many games and his style of play is so intense. We've been saying this for 5 years. Yeah. You need a second striker. And none of this Heung-min Son can come in and cover for him. None of that. No. You need a second striker.
I said that to you yesterday.
What's wrong with Janssen?
Behave.
Oh God!
I said that to you, Alex. Didn't I?
COVID. It's the first thing he's caught that's half decent.
Get Soldado back.
Was it 2 days ago, Alex? I said to you that the problem is Kane plays 60 games a season for Tottenham, then plays 10 for England, then straight back at it, and it's what they did to Rooney. It's why Rooney was done at 30 because he just got absolutely.
It's the same thing. Michael Owen. It's when you've got a young English striker like that, and they come back before they're properly fit, and they know that they've got the whole attack almost resting on their shoulders. It just breaks them.
Yeah, there's a great.
Maybe we've seen the best of Harry Kane.
I don't think you've seen the best of Harry Kane. I think there's still more to come from him. But I mean, Stuart Allen's just made a great point on Facebook about yes, you need a second striker, but you need competition for Kane rather than backup. Who on earth are you going to bring in that's going to compete with Harry Kane?
Fernando Llorente.
Bring him back.
But Gav, I think you missed it when we were talking about it. And I saw Stu just put a comment there saying about Levy. Because the question was asked, in the Spurs squad, who would you sell, who would you get in realistically to change it?
I'd say Raul Jimenez.
Well, yeah. How much?
You're looking at 50 plus for Raul Jimenez.
Yeah, so that's unrealistic because there's no money.
Like what I'm saying, and the problem is, especially with Spurs at the minute, it is spreadsheets and facts and figures and percentages of net and percentages of transfer income rather than people worrying about what's going on the pitch. Like everyone's too involved with an economics degree now about Enoch and Levy and it's this percentage of going back in and this, that and the other. And it shouldn't be. We shouldn't be worrying about that. That shouldn't be our. That's where football is now. And the question was asked, like, who would you realistically want to bring in? And instead of us thinking, oh well, I'll have Ronaldo or Messi, it's instantly like, well, the net turnover of June has been X, Y, Z in the stadium.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
We were talking about that on the Spursy podcast earlier on today, and what Spurs have done has turned every Spurs fan into an accountant.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yeah, everyone's got a diploma now, and it's nuts.
We're about to kick off here, aren't we?
We are indeed.
On the channel or on the game?
Everywhere. It's kicking off everywhere.
So let's go back to that. Who realistically can they bring in? And I think realistically, you're looking at, let's assume, low budget money and free transfers.
I think we should look at someone like Patrick Schick, who's on loan from Roma, who's at Leipzig this year. It looks like he might end up signing a permanent deal for Leipzig, but why not go out and get someone like him? He's a big brute up top. He's like is a less physical version of Llorente. Look what Llorente did for Spurs. He was a great backup striker, but he is good enough, in my opinion, to compete. I'm not saying he is as good as Kane.
If you're looking at it that way, why not look at someone like Marcus Thuram or Alisson?
Neither of those would come to be understudy. Neither of them would want to leave where they're at to become an understudy.
Just kicked it straight out of play.
Look at City. City have got Aguero and they've got Jesus. We have our own opinion on Jesus, but Jesus can start.
The deadest baller, man. He's the deadest baller.
See,
Alan,
Callum Wilson,
I'd play Callum Wilson.
that's just defeating the purpose. Again, you're going to be spending a lot of money on him, and yeah, he's not good enough to really challenge Harry Kane. That's not a good signing.
If Bournemouth go down, it might be a little bit of a different story. I don't think they have to spend as much money
Not for
if
Spurs,
they go
though.
down.
But
Not
would
for
you look at
Spurs.
Callum Wilson or would you look at Josh King?
Oh, Josh King. I love Josh King.
But the thing is,
so much better. But Josh King would be able to, you'd be able to play him, and it would be a lot more fluid. So you'd actually be able to get away with playing Son and Josh King because they'll just like flip between each other. But
It's
then
not
you
the
look
start
at
Here's a question: what about Troy Parrott? Surely there's a lot of hype I've heard about him. Is he not? Is he just not progressing at all?
It's football manager hype.
He's very, very, very young. And I think the concern is that if they throw...
So is Martinelli, so is Greenwood.
Yeah, how old's Parrott?
17.
18. 17.
Yeah,
17 still.
But yeah, Rashford was playing in the first team at 17.
For me, I rate Troy Parrott. If you look at the stuff that he's done online and you watch some of the games that he's played, he's a good player. He's certainly got it. But would you throw a player that young into a situation like Spurs have got at the minute where everything is in turmoil and there's so much pressure? I wouldn't. I think it'd break him.
Then if that kind of pressure would break him, then he's in the wrong game.
He's in the wrong
industry. You need time for them to go down. If there wasn't a Harry Kane there, then take a punt. But I think back up to Kane, he's not going to get the minutes on the pitch to really develop and change. He won't. Mourinho's not going to blood in a 17-year-old, is he? It's the wrong man.
You end up buying players like Janssen that are half decent in whatever league they play in, but then when they get here, they don't get any time. They don't get any run of form. So when Kane does inevitably pull his hamstring again or get a thigh strain and he's out for 4 weeks, Janssen comes in completely ice cold. Can't get any form. Kane comes back and off he goes again. And
that's the thing. Well, what they should be doing is when Spurs are 1-0 up or 2-0 up or whatever, then bring Parrott on either to support Kane or in place of Kane. There you go. There's 10-15 minutes of each game.
That's the, yeah,
just try bed.
Mourinho doesn't do that.
No,
I'm
not a huge Mourinho fan, but he doesn't bleed youth.
I don't realise the size of that comment. I'll come back to that, Trix.
The Mourinho myth that he doesn't bleed youngsters is the biggest fallacy ever. At United, he started Williams. He gave McTominay his break. He brought. I think the first season. I think it was the second season under Mourinho. United started more academy graduates that season than anyone else in the Premier League. So that
Lucas Moura's own front goal. Oh, it's just been cut out by Mustafi, and it's a corner to Spurs.
But that Mourinho thing is a myth, and I won't defend Mourinho too much because I don't like his style of football, and I think he's the game's past him. But I'm not having that youth stuff.
Right, here we go then. So So Trix would sell Aurier, Dyer, Vertonghen, Alderweireld. So pretty much sell the whole.
I mean, can I just point out
bring in Højbjerg, Thiago Silva, Godfrey from Norwich. He's looking at bringing in there's some players in there which are potential, and there's some players that are already established. I think what Spurs needs to do right now is get established players in.
Yeah, that list that came up there, that's great for a Football Manager save or FIFA.
Yeah. That is not realistic in you do not change 10 players, 15 players and one going to see it work?
No, it's not as many as that. It's not as many as that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players there. But to be fair,
hold on.
3/4 of those players are meant to be on their way out anyway.
Yeah, hold on. Also, people like Sarr from Nice and stuff, they are such like footballing hipster players at the minute. Like they have a half decent rating on FIFA or they have a half decent rating on Football Manager. They don't set the world on fire in their respective leagues, but people hear about them and get this buzz that he's going to be good, this, that, and the other. But that's not what Spurs need right now. They don't need a 18-year-old prodigy. They need
Spurs need established, experienced players, and they're not getting that. But yeah, you're right there. You're coming back there with that. Over a few transfer windows, realistic. That's what Liverpool have done. They all the players that they've got now, they didn't just sign them all in one window and then just start playing for a couple of years and see what happened. It was just drip feed 1, drip feed 2. You know, that's what was happening. Oh, well, who's that? That's not very clever. That's a free kick. And who is that who made that challenge? Because I think he might be on. Oh, it's Winks. It's Winks. I thought it was Lo Celso, because I was going to say he's on a yellow card already.
What I would say as well, again, that's all well and good saying over a few transfer windows, right? But then you end up in the awful position we were in. Okay, so Van Gaal had 3 transfer windows and brought 19 left backs, 5 central defensive midfielders because we played a 5-3-2. But then he got the boot. So then Mourinho comes in and we've got a squad of players that don't fit his system and his style of football. So then they have to go. So then Mourinho needs 3 or 4 more transfer windows to get in the players that he needs. That happens. He gets the boot. So now Ollie's still stuck with players that Mourinho didn't want from Van Gaal, that Van Gaal didn't want from Moyes. And you can't guarantee me that over a few transfer windows, so say give it 2.5 years, is Mourinho still going to be there in 2.5 years at Spurs for these transfers to make any impact for him? Do you reckon he'll be there in 2.5 years? Because I don't.
No, he doesn't last any more than 3 years at any club, which is ridiculous, isn't it? You know, his whole career is based on 3 years at a time. And
I'm not saying you need to make transfers for now, but it's just not realistic to aim for a complete squad. Like getting rid of 10 players and bring 10 players in, unless you're in the conference and you've released all your players at the end of the season. Like Cobblers did.
Yeah. Here we go. Over time, given game time, they'll become experienced. Yes, but then what situation do you blood them?
But then the problem is, hold on. Then the problem is, okay, play those youth players and bleed them in. Right, so you're telling me you're going to be happy finishing 12th, 13th, 14th while you're playing youngsters? No, because then the fans are going to moan they want results now. It just doesn't work.
I think the Højbjerg shout is a very good shout. I've got a lot of time for him anyway. He came through the ranks at Bayern Munich. Didn't quite make it at Bayern, which is a shame because I really think he's a decent, competitive midfielder. Someone that Tottenham are missing at the moment. They haven't got that person in the middle of the park that literally grabs the game by the scruff of the neck and drives people forward.
They spent 50 million on Ndombele for that.
Yeah.
Like again,
he's supposed to be that type of player, and Mourinho just doesn't fancy him for whatever reason.
Yeah, but that's another myth.
Shot there from Bellerin, which is blocked. He's gone out for a corner. Yeah. We just lost Stephen Buck. He's got family round, so he's off now. So, any Spurs fans want to hop in? If you want to hop on to the main screen, you're more than welcome to. Just pop me a message on any form of social media, and I'll send you the link and be able to squeeze you.
But again, that's another myth that they haven't been spending 55 million on Ndombele, and all I hear from Spurs fans is he's not fit yet. We're a year. It's a year now. How is he not fit to play football?
Yeah.
But what was he doing at Lyon then? What game was he playing? He weren't playing Uno, was he?
It's a lovely knockback from Ceballos. Great cross there. It's flicked. It was just flicked away by Alderweireld, an overhead kick, spectacular overhead kick from Mustafi, and then Lloris just picked it up from just above just under the bar there. But that would have been interesting if that went in. Very interesting if that went in.
I think the reason why he mentioned going back to his original comment about who he'd bring in, I think the reason why he mentioned Malang Sarr from Nice was that apparently he's actually now on a free transfer, isn't he? Because his contract has run out, and he's thinking that it would be a good pickup for obviously no spend at all. But again,
that's a different story. He's
not proven in this league.
Yeah, he's not proven. And also, what I would say to that, just looking through this, right? So this season, everyone's forgetting this, right? So 54 million for Ndombele, yeah. Let's not forget 30 million for Bergwijn. So what do you need Sarr when you got Bergwijn? Let's not forget the 24 million pound for Ryan Sessegnon. 14 million pounds for Lo Celso on loan. They've spent.
They've signed him permanently as well. They've signed Lo Celso permanently.
Gelson Fernandez.
That's a deal now.
Gelson Fernandez, that loan deal cost £4 million. So they can't sit there and tell me that there's no money to invest. They've done what we've done for years, and it's not been invested well.
No, that's exactly it.
We spent 50 million on Di Maria and it was awful. We've spent X amount of money on players that it hasn't panned out for us. And it's not that we haven't spent money, it's just not worked well.
That's the issue. You can spend money, but then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Man United have been struggling with that. I didn't realise the level of money that Tottenham have been spending. I knew they have spent a couple of quid, but I didn't realise it was as much as that. They're on the break now, and they're on the edge of the box. It's a cross there from Aurier, but it's been blocked by Kolasinac, who just stands there afterwards. He has been shocking.
Yeah,
today.
Kolasinac was lucky there because he didn't really close him down, didn't really put him under any pressure. It was just a poor cross from Aurier, wasn't it?
I'm embarrassed by Sead Kolasinac today.
He's not good enough. He's not good enough for Arsenal.
Yeah. Also, hold on. So they didn't buy anyone last season, which I remember being a big bone of contention because it was like, how can we just carry on with the squad we've got? But even the window before that, right? 36 million for Davinson Sanchez. That's not pocket money. 25 million for Lucas Moura. 22 million for Sergio Aurier. 14 million for Llorente. 12 million for Juan Foyth.
I think that 12 million on Juan Foyth, that's a future signing because he's only 21, 22 now. 19, yeah. So it's not bad. I don't think
he's 22. But this is what I'm saying. They are spending money. It's such a myth that they're not buying players. They're not. They are like wasting it. You can talk about potential and you can talk about stuff like that all you want, but can you tell me that Ndombele that walked into this team is worth the money they spent on him?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
Could you imagine? And I'm not like just wanting to talk about us all the time, but could you imagine if United had signed Ndombele for 55 million and he put in them performances?
Oh, well, look at Fred. They signed for Man United. Signed Fred for 50 million. And look at the aggro that he's been receiving. He's had a good season this year, but people still go, "He's got 50 million." Well, football is evolving, and that's how much money things are in football nowadays. Trix has said about Damien Comolli being part of the waste of money, but like Damien Comolli,
but that doesn't matter. But at the end of the day,
Damien Comolli is meant to be the saviour of director of footballship. But
a person being irresponsible with the money doesn't mean they're not spending it. If I give my child £10 pocket money and they go spend it all on sweets, I've still given them £10.
There we go. Oh! He's at the bar. He's at the frame of the bar.
Aubameyang should be scoring there.
Arsenal still on the attack there. There's a free kick on the edge of the box now. This is Pepe range. Lucas Moura looks like he might be going in the book as well.
Not that I've got a child, but if you gave your kid a tenner,
I was going to say, like, when did you get? When did you start?
If they spend it all on sweets and absolute nonsense, does it matter? Like, you've still given them a tenner to spend, and if they waste it, they waste it.
Arsenal have been in top this half.
Yes, they have. This is the issue with Arsenal. Arsenal don't know how to score a second goal. Once Arsenal learn how to score a second goal, there will actually be a bit of a threat because when they are 2-0 up in games, they are so comfortable. They look casual, they look chilled, they don't look like anything phases them, and they look like that after they go 1-0 up, but then they panic a little bit and end up in situations like this. Now, Arsenal need to start learning how to go 2 goals up in games.
Yeah,
it's a free kick on the edge of the box. Pepe standing over it. It's Pepe range. He scored a couple free kicks in this situation before, but he doesn't look like he's standing in an area where he's going to be striking this. It looks like Lacazette might be whipping this in. Pepe, no, he's not got the right angle. I knew he didn't have the right angle. It goes right into the midriff of Lucas Moura. He's got the edge of the box on the ball on the edge of the box, and is giving it away. And off goes Lucas Moura. And Pepe's now received a yellow card for felling Lucas Moura on the halfway line.
Can I ask a serious question? How is Granit Xhaka the only person on that pitch not to be carded yet?
Well, he's maturing. He's maturing as we go along.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
I think that's a really harsh yellow. I don't think that's a yellow card.
No, I don't think so either. He's not got the ball, but he's making a genuine attempt at trying to get the ball.
Oh, that's really soft. It's definitely a free kick, but nothing more than that. That's a lovely challenge there from Mustafi. Honestly, Ballon d'Or winner Mustafi.
Oh yeah, he's Ballon d'Or.
So no, that's the point I'm making. They shouldn't just panic buy. That's what they have done. They have been guilty of that the last few years.
And that, well, it's a thing that was catching in North London because it seemed to be under Arsenal doing that as well. Because I think it's also a myth that Arsenal haven't spent money, because we have spent money. We spent a lot of money.
A lot of money on Lacazette and Aubameyang.
Yeah. Well,
Aubameyang's paid it back.
Mustafi, Xhaka. There was that summer we spent nearly 100 million on Xhaka, Mustafa, and Perez. I mean, Perez don't play for us anymore.
It's a shame because I really liked Perez, and every time he played for Arsenal, he did something, and he had energy, and he fought, and he died for the club every time he played. But he only played like 10 games, and it's like.
Well, it was weird because clearly Wenger didn't rate him, but. Yeah, we've and then there's the whole contract situation where we gave out that ridiculous contract to Ozil, and that affects your finances as well. When you're paying a player 350 grand and he's not played a single minute of Premier League football since the restart, then that's got serious problems, serious issues for your team.
What I will say is, like, talking about them panic buying and spending money, right? If you'd have said to me in the summer, look at this Spurs squad and tell me what they need, I tell you what I wouldn't say. It wouldn't be another central midfielder. You've got Ali, you've got Winks, you've got Dyer can play there, you've got Sissoko. They brought Lo Celso in on loan. Are you telling me
that's what they're missing? They're missing a combative midfielder.
Yeah, but you telling me Ndombele was the perfect piece for that jigsaw?
No, not saying he was. It was the perfect.
Lazio, Alan from Napoli, someone like that. If you want a combative midfielder. Ndombele isn't that player for me.
No, I'm not sure if those kind of players from Serie A would be able to cut it in the Premier League, though. It's completely different pace, different intensity.
That's the same with Ndombele at Lyon. Like I said, he's come here and all they've said for the whole 12 months is he's not fit. How? What's going? Obviously, part of your job as a professional footballer is to stay fit and. So what's the real story there?
I think Pepe might have to come off in a minute because I don't think he deserved to get a yellow card a moment ago, but it's just taking Winks out on the halfway line, and you could argue that is a yellow card offence. So I think it should be some Saka time for Arsenal. I can't see Pepe finishing this game, and ideally I would like to see Arsenal finish the game with 11 men.
I've just seen. I don't think it's a yellow. It doesn't look like he's intentionally. It's not cynical enough to break up the play, but it's.
Thing is, you're on a yellow card already. You can't be making those sort of challenges.
Yeah. Michael Oliver would have taken note of that, and the next one, you know what you'll get. You'll get this.
You'll either get a stern word.
You'll get him talking about. He'll be like over there, over there, over there.
Yeah, but he's already on a yellow card, so I don't think he'll be doing that point.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He'll give him the second yellow and be like, here. But yeah, honestly, I don't think Spurs need to panic buy. That's not what I'm saying. But what I was saying was that there is a myth that they haven't spent money.
Yeah, it is indeed. Kev's throwing his £2 worth in. Tottenham only need 3 goals now. Yes. What's going on with Bodo Glimt? Are they playing today? Are they playing today? I'm keeping an eye out on Bodo Glimt at the moment because that's Kev's team over in Norway. They've been blooding kids. I think they've got 2 lads that are 28, and everyone else is 25 or under. Nice. So yeah, and they're top of the league at the moment.
That's definitely football manager stuff as well. Yeah. Where you sign just 17-year-old wonder kids and you stick them straight to your first team squad.
Yeah, just some random kid from like the Graf Shop or from from Brescia. Just try and make him something. Here comes Saka.
Talking about youth as well, can I say that how close and how actually spot on I got it in the preview to the City game when I said they won't really finish lower than second, they can't win the league. Watch him not play Foden and watch him not bring him on until the 70th minute when they're already 4-0 up or whatever. What happens? They don't start him. They're 3-0, 4-0 up, and on comes Foden. It's mad.
Do you have a key point to play in the Champions League?
Foden? No.
I think he'll feature much.
No, I don't think so. And you know what? Like that's the thing. Like Stephen said earlier about Mourinho doesn't play youngsters, which again isn't true. But how come no one seems to mind that Pep doesn't play youngsters? It never gets said. He gets lauded.
I think people do moan about that. I really do think people moan about that.
Mainstream press, man.
If we're looking at City at the moment, kids wise, you know, Foden, Garcia.
Yeah, we went through it the other day.
That's it. That's it. They don't. They haven't got a striker, an actual out and out striker who's coming through the academy.
But the narrative isn't as driven as it is with this Mourinho doesn't play. And it sounds like I'm sticking up for Mourinho, but I really dislike Mourinho.
Kolasinac, man. Oh, letting the ball bounce and then.
Why is Kolasinac playing like a centre back in a back three when Socrates is on the bench?
Socrates is just coming back from fitness.
Okay.
Layoff. So, to blood him, especially in a game like this, could probably be catastrophic. But he and Holding are the best two actual defenders at Arsenal right now.
Which is a sad state of affairs, really.
I was going to say that's pretty poor. That's pretty poor.
I mean, because Holding is not that good.
I disagree with you. I wholeheartedly disagree with you. Rob
Holding is not Arsenal quality.
I think he is.
I
honestly think Rob Holding is future captain
a serious
level.
top 4 club again, then Rob Holding shouldn't be part of that squad, and he's only there because he's English.
Rob Holding is good enough and much of a leader enough to be a future captain at Arsenal. I genuinely believe that.
If Rob Holding turns out to be Arsenal captain, something seriously has gone wrong.
Don't forget that was said about Phil Jones as well. So Phil Jones was going to be the future captain of England, then weren't he?
Phil Jones got unlucky with injuries and stuff though, because when he first came to United and the first couple of seasons there, he did look the part.
But, okay, going back to what we were saying about the Spurs thing about buying the wrong players. Again, nobody needed to be a rocket science to see that Arsenal needed a centre back. Who in their right mind thought David Luiz was the answer to that problem?
I think it's the fact that it was 8 million. It's not a lot of money.
Has it been worth it? Yeah, but what's he on? What wages is he on?
Yeah, well, it's on a new 1-year deal as well, which is embarrassing. I think that bit's embarrassing in there. But when Arsenal get linked with certain players, you know, like Regani, for instance, you know, I'm like, yeah, go out and get Regani, mate. Right, yeah, so here's a substitution. We just had the drinks break, and Pepe is coming off, and Saka is coming on in his place. And I think that's the correct decision, really. Yeah. Pepe is his first proper game back since the birth of his child as well, so he's not been playing many games. He hasn't got the intensity level back up yet, and Saka has been on form, so I don't see any reason why.
I think we need to have a conversation about that, because it appears that if we're going to play a left-footed player on the right, have we not got the same player in Bukayo Saka and Nicolas Pepe?
Yeah, but you also got one who is hungry and driven and quicker in Saka, and then you've got Pepe who is more skillful. This is bad. Here we go. It's 2-1. It's not going to be 2-1 to Spurs. And are they going to go back on VAR and have a look at that? Because that didn't look very clever, if I'm honest. It didn't look very clever, but Arsenal got the ball on the halfway line now.
Who didn't look very clever? Was it Granit Xhaka possibly getting a booking?
I think it might have been the keeper situation. It looks like that Mustafi initially just letting go of Kane wasn't very, very tidy. Here's Saka on the edge of the box, and he's tried to get an early cross in, but it's just been deflected there.
Yes, I think I'm just about to see it now. Yeah, so Kane's through.
Poor defending. It was from Mustafi, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Mustafi letting go. Now this play's gone on that long. It's telling me that everything's fine, and it's a throw into Spurs.
Yeah, Kane just out-muscled Mustafi. That was what happened there.
Yeah. was a poor ball from Bellerin in the first place.
Again, good goalkeeping from
Martinez.
Martinez, smothering out the danger really quickly.
Oh, he's done really well there, actually. Bloody hell! I thought he took Son out.
I don't know why Son's not hitting that first time. Though, I just want to point out, Harry Kane does look like he uses if you're going on the handball rule as it is right now, that's a handball against Harry Kane.
Yeah, if that had gone in then, we would have been looking at that. Just leave that for the goalkeeper. Good lad. Right, yeah, so I'm a little bit disappointed in Mustafi there because he's made that very easy for Kane. But then, once again, we were talking earlier on in the game about Kane's confidence, and Kane is lacking a lot of confidence at the moment because a full 10 out of 10 Kane is probably going to take that out of his feet and dig it.
I was going to say, I've got a question. How come he decides to pass the ball across goal there, but not against Croatia?
Oh my God! 2 years ago today.
2 years on, we're still not over it.
I'm not over it.
Shambles.
2 years ago today.
It wasn't today, was it?
Yeah.
Was it today?
It's either today or yesterday. 2 years ago.
Jesus.
Wow. How time flies, you know? Just with the Euros being pushed back to next year, we're going to get two major international tournaments 2 summers in a row.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily summer because 2022 is going to be Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, because the World Cup is going to be in the winter. Yeah, good point.
The Christmas World Cup, yay!
Embarrassed by it, honestly.
Which leads me to wonder, how are they going to squeeze in the World Cup qualifiers?
Oh, they'll find a way.
Nations League.
Draw lots. Shortest straw in that.
Why is Granit Xhaka being fouled against? He needs to be fouling.
Have throw in.
Have a little nibble in a bit, Xhaka. I want this to break out.
I'm a little bit disappointed in this game.
I'm still adamant.
But then they're more off on the march, and he's played it across goal, and it's gone in front of Son and behind. I didn't see that. I was on the far right hand side. Right,
Sissoko.
Yeah, so it's not a very good ball. And it's just been cleared away from Xhaka.
Spurs have been getting in on this right hand side. Bellerin and Mustafi have kind of
fallen off a little bit, haven't they? They've not really been enjoying it and being part of it. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what Spurs need to do in terms of changes. I think they need to do something. Likewise, Arsenal, but Arsenal they just changed like for like. So they're not trying to take the game, if so to speak. You know, it's almost like Arsenal are happy to just do what they need to do and play for a draw.
Like I said, I'm adamant this game is a different game with a crowd.
Yeah, it is. Derby games are. You know, there's that, and especially nowadays where you're not really getting like local lads playing for the clubs. You know, it means something more, doesn't it? If you're a local lad and you are Arsenal through and through, you come through here and then you're playing against some lads from like Walthamstow and like Seven Sisters, Haringey, they'll fancy it more against Arsenal. That sort of thing's gone now.
It's things like, could you imagine Pepe's already on a yellow card and he makes that challenge on the halfway line? Do you think that stadium isn't 60,000 Spurs fans baying for a red card?
Yeah.
And then what does that do to the referee?
That's got to be a yellow there, hasn't it? There's a pullback by Harry Winks. Yeah, it is a yellow card. Good idea. So now, there's a lot of yellow cards that have been given out here.
I don't know if this is breaking news for you guys, but I see here the Bournemouth team to play Leicester. So Bournemouth have put it on their Twitter as a 4-4-2. So they've gone Ramsdale in goal. Across the back, they've gone Rico, Kelly, Aki, and Stacey. Then in midfield, you've got Danjuma, Lerma, Gosling, and Brooksy. And up top, they've gone Solanke and Callum Wilson.
Solanke.
Why are they
Lerma to
playing
get booked.
Dominic Solanke? They're trying to win
Yeah,
the game, right?
Cotton, if you're looking for players to get booked, Jefferson Lerma is a cert,
Free
right?
money. Free money.
Yeah.
And then
Come
what
on.
about the Leicester lineup?
The Leicester lineup is
Right itself, doesn't it? Really?
the Leicester lineup goes Schmeichel in goal, Justin, Evans, Soyuncu, Albrighton, and Didi, Tillemans, Fuchs, Perez, Iheanacho, Vardy. So looks like they're going through it back as
Going through it back.
Yeah,
with that,
Fuchs playing wing back then, yeah. But
No, I reckon Fuchs will be part of the back three, and then they'll play Albrighton wing back like they did the other day.
Yeah.
That would be more suited to them. But that I can't see past the Leicester win for that. Bournemouth, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Is Danny Ceballos playing with a gum shield?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, and he keeps taking it out and playing with it. And
Yeah.
it does my head in. It absolutely does my head in. I don't know why he does it.
Odd.
Oh, come on, Arsenal! Jesus Christ!
Come on, Xhaka.
I mean,
What you want, Cotton, is Xhaka to score a worldie from 35 yards and take a shot off and celebrate.
I mean, that's what you want.
That's what, I want that for me and for you.
I want Xhaka to just absolutely chop someone.
I'd rather Arsenal be leading at that point. I just can't see what's going on. Look where Aubameyang is. Aubameyang is one of the furthest men back. That's a good lifted ball over the top there, and Bellerin's done really well to cut that out because that's going right into Son's path there. Saka is deep. He's having a look around. And Arsenal are able to spread it out a little bit now, which is much nicer. There you go. There's Tierney on the far left. He's asking Aubameyang to help him out a little bit, and he's tried to play a little wall pass back to him, and it's just slowed the game down. It's gone back to a sort of walking pace.
Lacazette looks absolutely exhausted, man.
He probably is, and he hasn't even got little Eddie on the bench. Oh, Bellerin, naughty. Oh, Fish! Oh! That was a bit of a wake-up call there, Aubameyang. So Bellerin's ended up cutting inside. He's having a little dig with his left peg on the edge of the box. It's deflected off Alderweireld, and Aubameyang's hit that first time. Oh, that would have been lovely if that goes in, just on the half volley. It's a good, comfortable height for the goalkeeper, but it's still a very good save. And Arsenal got a corner. There's 11 minutes left.
If Lloris is not making that save, you're asking serious questions there of your goalkeeper. I feel like he's almost made a bit of a meal of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's a bit of poor communication from Tottenham there as well, because Ben Davies has just nodded it out for another corner on the other side now, and he didn't really need to do that. The ball, it wasn't a very good corner from Saka, and it's just lofted over. It's been left alone by David Luiz, and just poor communication.
That Lloris corner is pure one for the cameras, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If David De Gea makes that save, everyone's going, David De Gea, world-class goalkeeper.
Nah, it's for the cameras. For the cameras.
Spurs are on the break here. What a lovely challenge there from Bellerin, because Spurs were away there, and he's blocked it again. That's nice. And yeah, Arsenal actually putting their body on the line, but that's definitely going to be a free kick and probably a yellow card for Mustafi. No, just a free kick, and Spurs are taking it quickly. Very surprised by that. Very, very surprised by that. Yeah, Bournemouth need a win today, because with Villa winning today, that's made things very difficult for them.
That was a big result for Villa.
Giant victory.
I still don't think that victory for Villa today has much bearing on what happens at the end of the season.
What a lovely ball that was from Mora, and he's found Kane on the run, and Kane shoots it first time, but Martinez was there to snuff that out. He was onside as well. Matt, I really enjoyed the way Martinez comes out and commands his box. He knows where things are. He makes himself big. He's very good at doing that. It's good. If he continues this sort of form, Leno ain't walking straight back into this side.
No. He's going to find it tough to get back in. Which is really unfortunate when you consider the
2-1. Alderweireld header.
Oh my God. Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Oh, I'm only up to the corner, so.
Oh, this is the lack of leadership from Arsenal. They're just walking around like heads down. No one's going around, come on, hurry up, sort of thing. This is poor. There's so many red shirts in the box.
Jacko needs to start grabbing people by the scruff of the neck. Literally and figuratively.
Wow, that's poor. But look, Tierney is not very tall. Why is Tierney marking Alderweireld? But once again, I said it earlier on, and I've been saying it since Arteta's taken over. Arsenal don't know how to score a second goal.
That goal is pretty.
Arsenal, once they score a second goal, look really good. They look really comfortable. If they don't score a second goal, they're vulnerable. And now Spurs just brought on Bergwijn as well, just a little bit more pace for Moura, who, to be fair, his second half has been a lot better than his first half.
Do you know what? It's not been a great game of football, has it?
No, it's not been a great game, but there's still so many areas and situations that Arsenal need to sort themselves out at. As I said, they don't know what to do when they're 1-0 up.
Surely Tierney has Aurier there, or someone a little bit smaller.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Why is Tierney marking Alderweireld? And here comes Spurs again. Kane on the left hand side. Oh, he's just cutting. Oh, it should be 3. It should be 3. It should be 3.
Mustafi's had a.
Oh, it's just over the bar.
Mustafi's had. He's had an absolute shocking last 10 minutes here. He's just been all at sea.
Yeah, I don't understand why he slid in here. Just stand up.
It's not that. It's not just that. It was one. He dallied on the ball, which gave Spurs the ball in the to begin with, and then just dives in. He was the one who he let Harry Kane in behind him for the corner kick, which led to the goal. It is.
Inform Kane scores that, by the way.
Well, I'm just about to see it now.
Happy days. Everyone knows I'm a gooner, but Ollie Skip is about to come on, and I absolutely love this kid. And Tierney's come off. I'm surprised by that. Cedric Suarez, Joe Willock, and Reece Nelson all coming on.
You got to go for it now, man. You just got to get fresh legs on and just push for it.
I don't know if it's coming off.
Mustafi's, why are you going to ground there, man?
Doesn't need to.
But do you know what? It's
not just coming off.
Who is?
Kolasinac is only just coming off.
Oh, not only does he just stay on your feet, he ends up being about 4 foot away from the ball when he goes to ground.
Right, so Bellerin, Tierney, Kolasinac off, Cedric, Nelson, and Willock. So I'm thinking it might be a back 4, but it looks like it's still a back 3. I don't know what Arsenal are doing here. I really don't know what Arsenal are doing here. So most points dropped from winning positions since Mikel Arteta's taken over. Arsenal dropped 12 points from winning positions. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I've said this. And I said I don't know what Arsenal are doing here. Layla, nice to see you. Neither does Arteta. 100% correct.
I mean,
1-0 up comfortable, and then go 1-0 up inside 15 minutes. Give a goal away inside like 2 minutes after. That's just poor. Absolutely poor.
But like you said, even now these substitutions have been so like for like that it's not a plan B.
There's no shape change. And now you've just given away a goal from a corner. Spurs got another corner. Yes, it's from the other side, but you should really know what you're doing now. So what do? They put Joe Willock on Alderweireld instead. Do they not know how tall Alderweireld is?
He's not that tall. He's actually not that tall.
Willock's just as tall as Alderweireld, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the camera angle. It was the camera angle that did me there.
Yeah, in fact, he's slightly taller.
No, it's the hair. The hair makes him look taller. That's what it is. But the camera angle there made it look like Alderweireld.
It was Joe Willock who cleared the corner in the first place. But look, you can't account for individual errors such as Kolasinac for that goal. I mean,
he's 6'2", yeah.
Excuse me. What do you mean? Like for Spurs' opener?
Yeah, you can't account for such a bad error that
No,
he was under no pressure and he plays in Son like that.
Right.
How
Okay.
How is that blaming Mikel Arteta for that type of goal?
No, but you're blaming Arteta here for making like-for-like substitutions in these situations. You need to try and mix the game up. You know,
Okay.
Arsenal haven't got a wealth of talent on the bench, so you need to make changes. You know, you need to look at who's more effective in certain areas.
Okay, I get that. Right. So
here comes Spurs again. Here comes Spurs again. Son on the side, and it's deflected, and it's going out for a corner. So Spurs, once again, you know, Spurs have been nowhere in this second half, and Arsenal have not had anything in them to try and get a victory or try and push another result out.
This question.
And now Spurs
if you're the Arsenal manager, what changes are you making at 1-1?
At 1-1 in that situation there, I'm looking at the mistakes that Kolasinac was making, and I'm taking him off. I'm looking at what you said before. I'm looking at that situation because at that point, Pepe was still on the pitch and wasn't on a yellow card at that point. So we'll go back to the point that you made, which I fully agree with. You take Kolasinac off, you put Tierney as on the left-hand side of the back three, and you put Saka on the wide left.
Okay, but that's not changing the formation or shape. That's still keeping the same formation.
But it's adding more pace against someone like Aurier who's on a yellow card.
And at 1-1,
you're using that tactic
in the game. 1-1, you're still just kind of like seeing it out sort of thing. It's the lack of changes and the lack of shape change and the lack of going for it at 2-1 down now that is the problem. I think what Gav's saying.
Well, hang on, they made a substitution and brought on Joe Willock and Reece Nelson, who are both forward attacking players. How is that not trying to get back into it?
Has the shape changed?
No, I said it hasn't changed.
The shape hasn't changed.
You just get really angry because you're losing and you think we're popping at Arteta. Like we're not.
Well, no. I want you to be able to justify what you're trying to say. You can't just say,
Alex,
you should do this, you should do that. But what would
Alex, the shape hasn't changed. Have you seen where Xhaka's playing now? Xhaka's playing now on the left-hand side of a back three.
Xhaka's actually still playing in midfield. That's how we've been building it up. We've gone back to a back four here.
We'll see where it goes the other end because Xhaka has been filling in on the left-hand side a lot here.
Look where Xhaka is right now. He's right in the centre of the park.
No, Xhaka's
look like he's centre half to me.
That's Xhaka there. And there's a yellow card. There's a yellow card, I think.
Has he booked him?
Yeah, I think he's about to book him.
Go on.
I think he's about to book him.
Go on.
Oh, it's for Saka for kicking the ball away. One lucky card.
It's Saka, yeah.
It should be Xhaka. Should be Xhaka, but I think it's Saka.
I haven't even seen it. Is anyone getting booked?
Yeah, I think that's Bukayo Saka who's got a yellow card.
Let's have a look. I'm just about to see it now.
Yeah, so yeah.
I don't know. That's the foul from. Look at
that Xhaka picking the ball up in the centre of the park in midfield. Yeah, he's playing left centre half. He's not. We've changed our shape here. But
you can't tell me that you've that since these changes that you've attacked more or you've gone for.
I'm not saying that we've not. We've taken the initiative here because we haven't. But he has made changes to try and do that. We've just not done it.
It's too late.
It's too late.
So you're saying that Arsenal should have done that at 1-0?
They're panic substitutions.
Do you want to win the game?
Of course they're reactionary substitutions.
Yeah, but
that's poor management.
See, what I'm trying to say is, would you guys have made that? Would you have changed the formation and system when it was 1-0? When it was 1-0, would you have changed it?
Yes, 100%.
You want to win the game because if you wanted to just see it out, then keep it the way it is because it wasn't working. Really, was it going forward? So if you want to keep it at 1-0, then don't make the changes. At 1-0, if you go, okay, we want to go for this, we need the 3 points, then make your attacking changes then. There's no point in waiting till you go 2-1 down now. And now not only are you pushing for a win, now you're pushing to even get a point. So you've not done either. You've not.
And at the same time, be looking at potentially shipping another goal, because since it's gone 2-1, Spurs have had 2 decent opportunities where they could have made it 3.
You're now not protecting a point or potentially going for a win. Now you're chasing a point.
It's not good management from Arteta. And that stat that came up as well of 12 points dropped from winning positions since Arteta's taken over, only second behind Bournemouth with 13 points dropped from winning positions. That is not good management. That's poor management.
I mean, you can't argue with the stats of not seeing games out and letting leads slip, because it's there for everyone to see. That's, like you said, the second most from winning positions.
And off the top of my head, a couple of obvious situations. The Chelsea game over Christmas time, 1-0 Arsenal leading, and throw that away. 2 cheap goals to give away, 2-1 down. The Sheffield United game, which we were at, I believe, or did you come to that game? I can't remember if you came to that game. You came to that game. Arsenal dominated 1-0, dominating. Final score 1-0. You know, that's just off the top of my head that I can think of straight away of games where Arsenal have dominated, been leading, and then walked away with either a point or 0 points. And it's just not. It's not the right thing to do. I don't know if it's a mentality thing. I don't know whether it's the clientele. But at the moment, I can see that, for me, I look at the management behind that. I think in time, in future, Arteta can be a great manager, but he needs time to learn, maybe. That's maybe what it is. But at the moment, it's not working. And even games that Arsenal are winning, it's not working. Brighton only a couple of weeks ago, Arsenal 1-0 up, 70 minutes on the clock. Next thing you know, is 2-1 to Brighton. There's another prime example of poor game management.
Yeah, I think there's a vast difference between saying poor management and poor game management. I don't think Arteta's done too much wrong in this game from like tactics point of view, but from a game management, not seeing out. I mean,
but that information and changing shape and style and stature comes from the management team. So whether it might be Steve Round turning around and saying, "Oh yeah, here we go," blah blah blah, or a bit of a hairy moment there for Spurs at the back, but they should be able to close it out now. And there's seconds left on the clock, and Lamela is trying to find his way to the corner flag. He's kept that in. That's really good play from Lamela there. He's done well there.
But I think you could say about
it's full time. It's full time. It's going full time.
I think you could say about personal errors as well, because you've only just scored, and then everyone else just completely switches off, and then they equalise straight away.
Yeah.
And again, that's not really Arteta's fault that everyone's just decided to have a drinks break.
No, I don't think it's anything to do with a drinks break as to why anything's changed here. But
no. I meant like it's not Arteta's fault that everyone decided to go to sleep as soon as they'd scored so they could equalise. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't told them to take a breather.
Oh, I got yeah. No, that's poor from McCarthy. That's an individual error. You know, that is an individual error. But you've got to do better there. Look, this result will hurt Arsenal. But it's a great win for Spurs, and we said before the game. I think Spurs, not saying that any team needed to win more so than anyone else, but Spurs were desperate to make sure that they won this game, and you know they need European football. I would say more so than Arsenal do right now with the brand new stadium. They need to try and recoup as much money back as possible right now. And they need to be able to attract certain players, and if they are able to spend a certain amount of money, Arsenal should be in a position where they should be winning this game after taking the lead and looking comfortable for vast majority of this game. There was a couple of opportunities where Arsenal could have gone 2-0 up, but they're not able to do it. So it's
what I would say to sum up the game, and it's going to sound so cliche. But it wasn't a great game to watch. But the only reason Spurs have won and Arsenal haven't is because they've taken their chances. But
Yeah, that's very cliche.
Other than Aubameyang dinging one from 35 yards, can you remember a really good chance that you think, we should have taken that, we should have scored there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aubameyang hitting the bar at 1-1.
But it wasn't like an easy chance.
Well, I would back him to score. He was pretty much dead centre in front of goal. I was surprised he didn't score.
All right, so there's one or
other
two.
Than that, no, there wasn't really any other chances.
Yeah. Okay, so there's one or two chances, but and then if you think how many chances did Spurs have where they could have scored? Kane could have lobbed the keeper. They got their 2 goals. There was 1 or 2 more chances. So I think that they just created 1 or 2 more clear-cut chances. It wasn't filled with much quality, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Both of their goals weren't exactly masterpieces either, were they? You've got a defensive mistake and a corner where you've got someone that's 6'2" being marked by someone that's 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fine margins, man. I don't think you can really be too disheartened about the performance. I don't really think.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scenes. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of things that need to be changed at Arsenal. But we knew this before the game, and we knew that even on the winning run that Arsenal were having before the Leicester game as well. So there's lots of change that is required. But you've been watching the watch along with myself, Gav Mack, Stephen Cotton, Alex Turn up last minute, and Stephen Buck. Who was part of the show, but he's got some family stuff as well. So, family comes first. Everyone knows that. So,
are you trying to wrap this up so you can get to the ice cream van that I can hear?
Yeah,
that was an ice cream van. Let's come down the street. Yeah.
That's down Alex's street. Boys, hang around there for a second. But just let you guys know at home who are watching and anyone who's commenting on things like that, we're back on the air tomorrow lunchtime to break down all the games that have happened today. On the air on Tuesday lunchtime to speak to Jed Searson, who was the chief scout at West Ham United and is also got his own scouting company, which is a brilliant company, S4 Recruitment they're called, and we'll be filling you in with everything that's happening with the shows that are going on this week. But for everyone who's been watching on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, thank you so much for your comments, your love and support for the show. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's not all Arsenal stuff. It's football related for everything. At 2 Up Top Football on all social media. And did you know, if you put 2 Up Top into Google, we come up first. Brilliant. Thanks, everybody, and goodbye.